Hi everyone, I'm Emma.
And I'm Ryan. Welcome back to English Flow Studio.
Today, we're doing one of the most requested topics of the entire year, job interviews in English.
If you have an interview coming up or you just want to feel more confident speaking about yourself in English, this episode is for you.
Interviews make almost everyone nervous. Even fluent speakers feel their mind go quiet when someone says, "So, tell me about yourself."
And that's completely normal. So today we're going to walk you through a full English job interview, what to say, how to sound calm, and how to express yourself naturally.
We'll cover the entire journey from the morning before the interview to the first 5 minutes, to the big questions like, why this job? And tell me about a time.
And we'll do it in a real relaxed way. No textbook phrases, no memorized scripts, just natural English you can actually use.
If you like episodes that help you feel calm and prepared, you can subscribe now so you never miss one. All right, let's begin.
Let's start with the first moment of the day. Waking up on interview morning when everything suddenly feels a little more real.
The morning of an interview always feels different. You open your eyes and there's this quiet awareness in your body, like your mind already knows today matters.
Your heartbeat is a little louder, your room feels a little brighter, and everything you do, brushing your teeth, choosing your clothes, suddenly feels important.
I always start with something calming. I make a warm drink, open a window for fresh air, and give myself a moment to breathe. Nothing dramatic, just 10 seconds to remind myself that I'm allowed to be human today.
I love that. I'm less calm than you. I always review my introduction, not word for word, just the shape of it. 3 versions, a short one, a medium one, and one that's a bit more relaxed.
That's such a good idea. Because interviews really aren't predictable. Some interviewers want you to go straight to the point. Others enjoy a small story.
Right, and having different versions gives you flexibility. It also stops you from sounding memorized. When you know your own story well, you don't need perfect sentences, you just need clarity.
Exactly. I also warm up my voice a little bit. People underestimate how important your voice is. Even simple phrases like, "Good morning," "Nice to meet you," "Thanks for meeting with me today," help your throat wake up.
And when your voice feels awake, you feel awake. But here's the thing, no one tells you being nervous in the morning doesn't mean you're unprepared. It simply means you care.
Yes, nervousness isn't your enemy. It's just energy that hasn't found its direction yet.
After checking your bag, documents, ID, resume copies, you fix your collar one last time, take a breath, and step outside.
And once you step outside your door, everything has one intention: getting you to that interview with as much calm as possible.
Arriving at the company is always a moment. You see the building, the logo on the wall, people walking in and out, and something inside you shifts.
Your steps sound louder, your hands feel cooler, and your attention sharpens. You're no longer preparing for the interview, you're stepping into it.
Then comes the first English moment of the day, the front desk.
And the good news is, it's predictable. You approach with a calm smile and say something like, "Good morning. I'm here for a 10 a.m. interview. My name is," or, "I have an interview today. I was told to check in here."
Clear, warm, human. Front desk staff understand nervousness. They see it every morning.
Then they ask you to wait. And suddenly you're in the waiting room, the emotional center of every interview day.
The chairs are always too firm, the air conditioner is always too cold, and there's always a plant that looks like it hasn't been watered since last month.
You sit down, and your mind starts juggling everything at once. Should I check my phone? Should I review my notes? Should I breathe? Yes, you should breathe.
This moment, this quiet waiting, can actually help you. Place your feet on the ground, roll your shoulders back, and let your breath settle.
And something soft happens when you do that. Your awareness widens. Your heartbeat steadies. Your voice becomes clearer.
Then you hear your name. You look up. The interviewer is there, smiling.
You stand, smile back, shake hands if it feels natural, and say, "Nice to meet you," or "Thanks for meeting with me today."
And just like that, you're not waiting anymore. You're participating.
They lead you down the hallway. The walls feel quieter, the floor sounds sharper, your senses wake up even more.
And right when you start noticing your own footsteps, you enter the room, sit down, and the first 5 minutes begin.
The first 5 minutes of an interview set the rhythm, not the content, the rhythm.
Most interviewers start with something gentle. How was your morning? Did you find the place okay? Would you like some water?
These are not tests, they're warm-up moments, invitations to settle into the room.
If they ask how your morning was, you can say something natural like, "It's been good, thank you. I arrived a little early, so I had time to settle."
Clear, warm, steady.
Then you sit down. Some people sit too stiff, like they're bracing for impact. Some sit too relaxed, like they're watching TV.
The sweet spot is in between, comfortable but attentive. I usually place my hands lightly on the table. It reminds my body to stay open.
While the interviewer glances at your resume or smiles politely, something subtle happens. Your breath slows, your voice warms, your presence settles.
That's when you feel it. I'm here. I can do this.
And once everyone has seated, the first real question arrives.
Tell me about yourself. This question can feel huge, not because it's difficult, but because it's open. It gives you space, but sometimes too much space.
Yeah, when the interviewer says, "Tell me about yourself," your brain suddenly tries to scan every year of your life.
Yeah. The truth is, they aren't asking for everything. They just want your starting point.
I think of it as 3 small steps: who you are now, what you've been doing, and why you're here today.
Let's give a natural example. Something like, I've been working in customer service for a few years, and I really enjoy helping people solve problems. Recently, I've been looking for a role where I can grow my communication skills and take on more responsibility.
That's clean. No pressure, no drama. Just a calm, confident description of your direction.
Or you could take a slightly more personal approach. Something like, I've worked in education and content creation for several years. I enjoy turning information into something people can actually use, and I'm excited about roles where I can create meaningful learning experiences.
What I like about both versions is that they feel human, not memorized, not exaggerated, just honest.
And that's what interviewers listen for. Honesty with clarity.
And once they understand who you are, they naturally want to know why you chose them.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of the interview, your motivation.
Motivation questions tell the interviewer what you value, not just what you can do, but what you want.
People often think they need a perfect answer here. But the truth is much simpler. They want sincerity.
Let's start with an easy one. What made you interested in this position? A natural answer could be, I'm interested in this role because it matches the kind of responsibilities I enjoy, especially working with customers and solving problems.
Simple, warm, and clear. Now here's another common one. What are you looking for in your next role? I might say something like, I'm looking for a role where communication is open and where I can continue building my creative and teaching skills.
That's a nice balance, honest but focused.
And then there's the big one. Why do you want to work here?
This is where people often panic and suddenly sound like a brochure.
Yes, your company is number one, very successful, amazing. Interviewers hear that 50 times a week.
What they want is something specific you noticed. Maybe something like, I appreciate how much your company focuses on long-term customer relationships. That's the kind of environment where I do my best work.
Or, I've been following some of your projects, and I really like how your team prioritizes user experience. That's something I would love to contribute to.
Notice, neither answer is dramatic. They're just thoughtful.
And modern interviews often go even deeper. They might ask, what kind of environment helps you do your best work?
For me, I'd say I do my best work in a calm environment where people communicate directly and support each other.
And I would say, I enjoy environments where ideas move freely and where people feel comfortable asking questions.
That question reveals so much about a person's working style.
And once the interviewer understands your motivation, what you want, how you think, they move to something even more personal, your strengths and your weaknesses. Strengths are the easier part, but people still overcomplicate them. You don't need to sound extraordinary, just real.
A strength could be I stay calm when things get busy, it helps me stay organized and make clear decisions.
Exactly. It's honest and steady. No need for big adjectives.
Another one could be I work well with different kinds of people, I enjoy finding common ground and helping the team stay connected.
That's a beautiful one because it shows how someone behaves in a group.
Now, weaknesses. This is where people panic.
Yes. People think weakness means tell me something terrible about yourself.
But that's not what interviewers want. They want to know if you're self-aware and moving in a positive direction.
A natural weakness might sound like, I sometimes need a moment to organize my thoughts when things move very fast, but I've been practicing staying more flexible.
Or, I'm not naturally great with new software, but once I start using something, I learn quickly.
Both are honest, but balanced. That's what matters.
And when you finish talking about your strengths and weaknesses, interviewers often move towards something deeper. Not ideas, not motivations, but behavior.
What you've done, how you handled it, and who you were in the moment.
Which brings us to the part of the interview that feels the most human. Stories. Behavioral questions are the moment when interviews shift from theory to experience. Not who are you, not why this job, but how do you act when things get real?
Exactly. These questions always start the same way. Tell me about a time.
Tell me about a time you solved a problem. Tell me about a time you worked with others. Tell me about a time you had a challenge.
People think they need a dramatic story, but honestly, a simple moment can say everything.
Do you have one in mind?
I do. Let me share something small but meaningful. A few years ago, I worked at a place where Friday afternoons were always busy. One Friday, 2 coworkers were out sick, and suddenly a long line formed at the front desk. You could actually feel the stress rising in the air.
I can picture that room.
At first, I felt overwhelmed, but I took one breath, smiled at the people waiting, and said, "Thanks for your patience. We'll be with you shortly." Then I focused on one person at a time. No rushing, no panic. I asked a manager to help with a few questions, and slowly the room calmed down. After about 15 minutes, the line was gone, and one customer said, "You handled that really well."
That story is so real. Not dramatic, but it shows calmness, teamwork, and communication all in one moment.
Exactly. These questions aren't about showing off. They're about letting the interviewer see your human side, how you react, how you think, how you move through pressure.
I have a story too. Not a big one, but one that stayed with me. A few years ago, I worked on a small project team. Two teammates had a misunderstanding about who was supposed to finish a task. When I walked into the room, I could actually feel the tension. Quiet, sharp, uncomfortable.
Oh, that kind of silence is the worst.
Yeah. Instead of choosing a side, I said, let's pause for a moment and make sure we're talking about the same thing. We opened the project notes, looked at the details, and realized both people wanted the same result. They just imagined different steps. Once we clarified the steps, the mood changed completely. They apologized to each other, we reorganized the plan, and the project moved forward smoothly again.
That's a calm way to handle conflict. You didn't push anyone, you just helped them find clarity.
I try to listen before reacting, and sometimes that's all a team needs.
These stories show something important. Your behavior under pressure.
They don't need to be exciting. They just need to be clear
And honest.
and human.
And once the interviewer hears your story, the conversation usually turns towards something more practical. Something everyone worries about.
Salary.
Salary questions make a lot of people sit up straighter. It feels personal, it feels risky, but really it's just about understanding expectations.
Interviewers want to know if you're in the same range, nothing more.
When they ask, "What are your salary expectations?" you don't need a perfect number. You just need a calm direction. A natural answer is, "I'm open to discussing salary, and I'd love to know the range for this role."
Simple, respectful, it keeps the conversation open, not closed.
Or you can say, "Based on similar roles I've seen, something in the range of blank to blank seems fair to me."
And if you're not sure, it's completely fine to say something like, I'm flexible. I'm more focused on the role in the team.
Yes, flexibility can be a strength, especially early in your career.
And then comes the final question of almost every interview. Do you have any questions for us?
This part matters more than people think, not because you need to impress them, but because it shows engagement.
A natural question could be, what would a typical day look like in this role?
Or, what qualities are important for someone to do well on this team?
Or even, what does the next step in the hiring process look like?
All of these show interest, not pressure.
And once all the questions are done, there's this gentle final moment, the goodbye.
After your questions and their answers, there's a small pause, the kind where both sides know the conversation is complete.
The interviewer usually closes their notebook or gives a small nod and says something like, "Thank you for coming in today. It was great meeting you."
And that's your moment to finish gracefully. You stand up with a calm smile and say something like, "Thank you for your time. I really enjoyed our conversation."
Yes, don't rush. Don't grab your bag too quickly. Don't run to the door like you're escaping.
Exactly. You keep your pace steady. You shake hands if it feels natural, and you walk out with a quiet strength, even if your heart is beating a little too fast.
And then the door closes, and everything suddenly feels silent.
The interview world fades behind you, and now you're just a person walking down a hallway again.
And that hallway, honestly, is where the real emotions hit.
The moment you leave the building, there's always a strange mix of feelings. Relief, because it's finally over. Uncertainty, because you keep replaying things in your mind.
Yes, your brain becomes a movie director. Should I have said that sentence differently? Why did I pause there? Did they like my story?
But here's the truth. Everyone feels that way. Interviews make you hyper-aware of every detail.
What helps me is giving myself a few minutes to just breathe. Not judge, not analyze, just breathe.
Then, after you've had a moment, there's one more step that really makes a difference. the follow-up email.
It doesn't need to be long, just a few warm lines. Thank you for meeting with me today. I enjoyed learning more about the role and the team. I look forward to hearing from you.
Gentle, human, and respectful. That's all you need.
And then you let life continue.
Yes, you did your part. You showed up, you communicated, you were present. Now the process moves forward on its own timeline.
And the beautiful thing is, every interview teaches you something, even the ones that don't lead to a job.
They teach you how to talk about yourself, how to stay calm, how to trust your voice, how to connect with another human being for 20 or 30 minutes.
And with each interview, you get a little steadier, a little clearer, a little more yourself.
If today's episode helped you feel a little more prepared and a little less alone, we're really glad.
Interviews are not about being perfect. They're about being present, open, and real.
And wherever you are in your journey, new city, new role, new direction, we're here each week if you need calm English to keep you company.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can like or subscribe so you won't miss the next one. We always appreciate having you with us.
Take a breath, take care of yourself, and good luck with your interviews.
You're going to do great.
See you next time.